She was just the most humble, loving, caring for everyone. She was like everyone's mum.
Sakina Afrasiabi lived in the Grenfell Tower. She had severe arthritis, struggled to use the stairs and used a walker. She was housed on the 18th floor.
She never wanted to be in a tower block. She always hated the idea of being so high up. And we always assumed she would be moved into a lower level flat.
Nazanin only found out about the fire when she woke up that morning.
It's very hard to live with. Every time you sleep, you wonder what else you're going to sleep through.
Sakina and her sister Fatima died that night. Nazanin says her mother was never given a plan of how she should escape from her flat.
I think if there was an effort to make a plan, it would have been known that there is no way she could have escaped. So she wouldn't have been put there in the first place. For others, maybe it would make a huge difference, life or death. But my mum was always put in a death trap.
Many of those in the Grenfell Tower fire had some form of disability. Some survived. This is the video of one wheelchair user being carried down to safety, but others did not. In the Phase 1 report from the Grenfell inquiry, Sir Martin Morbick recommended that the owner and manager of every high-rise residential building be required by law to prepare a personal emergency evacuation plan for all residents whose ability to self-evacuate may be compromised. The Housing Minister had previously said that the government would accept the findings of the report in full. Now the Home Office has put out this consultation. It proposes to only give personal emergency evacuation plans to people who are disabled in blocks with dangerous cladding. But that means that according to the government's own estimates, there are over 150,000 people living with disabilities in tower blocks across the country that under these proposals wouldn't get a plan. For these blocks, the details of who would need extra help to evacuate would be kept in a box by the entrance for the fire brigade to use. Some fire experts are worried that firefighters won't always have the right equipment or knowledge to deal with every type of disability, and that this plan leaves disabled people waiting until they arrive.
I always wonder what type of a law there would be, that if we passed a law that said every fire door would remain locked and only be opened on arrival of the fire and rescue services. Now, this is essentially what happens to disabled people. They are locked in a building.
The government have said they're doing everything in their power to implement the Phase 1 recommendations of the Grenfell inquiry in the most practical, proportionate and effective way to ensure such a tragedy can never happen again. But Nazanin remains frustrated at progress.
It's just a great kind of game for everyone, keeping everyone in jobs, spending money writing these reports, and nobody listens really, and people's lives just remain at risk. I think as a society we should be ashamed of that, for kind of putting disabled people in the corner.
Caroline Davis, BBC London.